Like that's what the fuck the head coach do. Like,
I don't know. I've never seen a head coach take over the touchdown club.
He got them this Netflix special and he got fired.
Because he got caught. Basically some fucking videotapes.
Did they talk about it?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Enough to understand that the nigga that snitched on him was a hoe.
I'm dead. Again, like, two things can be true.
It ain't even being biased. If you take away from that the nigga that snitched on him is not a hoe, then you a hoe.
I mean, I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know. But I don't fuck with Rush Probst. Regardless.
So. I ain't never lose to that nigga. So.
Hey, man, I don't give a fuck about that. That nigga a bitch.
He was the coach when y'all played him.
Yeah, that nigga goddamn a cheater.
See, the way I see it, if he was my coach, I would have defended him. It was a white dude on there. This nigga in like 10th grade, he was like, if somebody took money, then of course they ruined Valdosta football for generations. My nigga, y'all wasn't winning shit before this nigga got here. Yeah, they said it.
I mean, they weren't winning shit with him, obviously.
They went far. That was the first time they made it to the semifinals in 25 years.
So they did all of that, and he did all of that.
It was his first year.
So they did that for one. Oh,
yeah, man.
Fuck.
I feel like they would have.
I'm telling you, it's literally just because it's Rush Probst. That nigga's a overhyped goddamn hype beast. Fucking. That nigga won one fucking state championship at Colquitt with the fucking refs in his back pocket. That shit crazy.
Yeah, 6.
I think that nigga won one fucking division, maybe 2, maybe 3. Nigga, all that shit was in fucking Alabama, where all the fucking niggas go to Hoover. That shit not hard.
Hey man, don't he sound like a hater?
Name another school. Name another fucking school.
You sound like you hate Jay.
Name another goddamn school in goddamn Alabama that niggas going to. Shades Valley, fucking Clay Chalkville.
That's fucking Birmingham.
Nigga, you don't give Alabama no fucking credit because of all of our goddamn accomplishments. So fuck no.
You are only talking about Birmingham though. Like, nigga, think about it. It's fucking Montgomery, Mobile, goddamn. You got to think it's not just Birmingham with high school football. I'm trying to tell you, nigga.
Hey.
Hard.
Nigga, all the goddamn niggas in fucking goddamn South Georgia, they all go to one fucking school. You can get one championship out of that? Are you serious?
They don't all go to one school.
Nigga.
They don't.
Alright.
You go to Lounge, you go to fucking Valdosta, or you go to... Nigga, they play in the same...
they do. Yeah, I know.
They play in the same region as...
I know. I'm telling you, niggas don't go to Lounge no more. That's like fucking going to Monday's Mill. Like, yeah, we'll have some fucking recognition, but we not fucking Colquitt. We not fucking Valdosta. We're not even Camden County. Camden County ain't been good since I was in fucking 7th grade, and these niggas still got more stain than Valdosta.
Their first game of the season was Warner Robins, and Warner Robins won the state championship the year before.
What does that have to do with them niggas not having no stain for real? Niggas literally go to one school.
They didn't even win their region, my nigga. Valdosta.
That's not my. My point feeds into my point.
They don't all go to one school. Is my point. There's multiple schools down there.
Okay, I'm telling you, they literally go to Colquitt County. All the rejects go to other schools.
Hello and welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast, Not Another Sports Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brandon. Here with co-hosts Kevin and Jordan.
Yo, what's up? This is Kevin.
Yes, sir. This is Jordan.
And you know how we kick it off here. Something positive. It is week 0, and we got college football. We back. Yes, sir. Well, Alabama don't play till next week, but that's not the point. Okay. We got it's a couple of big games they got today, and they got Illinois and Nebraska. Shout out to Scott Frost. He won that quote unquote national championship at UCF. The 3:30 game is UCLA and Oregon, I want to say, and the night game is the HBCU game. Shout out to the Me X Swag Challenge. I actually am gonna watch this game. I want to see if Alcorn State can repeat. So they haven't played since 2019, but they really been running the swag, and you know. Dion is in the swag, all that good stuff. Yeah, so it's exciting around these parts. So, what y'all got positive for this week?
The Yankees came to Atlanta and completed a 2-game sweep of the Atlanta Braves. We continued our win streak at that point to 12 games.
It was 11.
I'm sorry, 11. And we ended the Braves streak.
It was 10 when y'all left. It started as an...
We won 9. We was coming in with 9. It was 11.
You're right.
And so, and we ended the Braves win streak. So it's nice for us to have a win streak. One of our longest win streak since the 80s, I believe. Just nice to see. And then come up here and beat my guys' teams up here. I love it. I love it.
They ended the streak the first game, but they cheated. They cheated the second game. Freddie was safe, and they threw Jack Peterson out for no reason. That umpire, bruh. The umpire who got the call wrong was also the umpire that threw Jock out, bruh. And they still almost blew it.
Doesn't matter. Almost. It's baseball. Right. Y'all a good team, so I expect y'all to put up a fight and come back and make it competitive. Although Chapman stopped almost blowing games and blowing saves. I'm sorry. Paid you a lot of money. I need you to hold the fort down at the end.
But
I don't. He showed me in the playoffs before he give it up, so I'm scared.
First off, shout out to Penny. Happy birthday. We got
yes, sir.
No cap. She helps us with a lot. She's been on the show multiple times. Helps us make the episodes. It's also a lot that when stuff goes on in the week, I can just talk to her and ask her about stuff. So shout out to her. What else? We got. I'm going to the Braves game tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
For the Giants.
Yes, sir. Ian pitching.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Ian. We won, and they had the most wins in baseball, and we beat them last night. It was a come from behind win.
Shout out to Jack Peterson with the web jam and solar power.
He did make it a little bit harder. I think it might have been the win though.
Hey man,
that must have been it.
It was fire. I know that.
Yeah, it did. He kind of jumped for no reason, but. Yeah, that was the wind in
That's what that catch was.
The wind in the stadium is a little bit different, so I'll give him that. But shout out to Soler. All the trade deadline moves have been pretty good. Also, shout out to Will Smith. He does make every game like it's a heart attack watching him pitch, but he does have 29 out of 33 save attempts, so that is good. So. Shout out to him.
Yeah, sir. Then we're going to move on to the weekly.
One more. My bad.
Or not.
Shout out to Lee Corso coming back. College game day was back. It was in Atlanta. I was going to go, but I had to work. But shout out to them.
Right around the week, getting it. But, yeah, with that being said, we're going to move on to the weekly recap. It's not what we're kind of looking forward to next week, but it's like we've always said, it's kind of a dry spell. But that's coming to an end. Next week, we got college football back full in force. So, with that being said, we're going to predict the best game for next week. I'm going to say the Georgia-Clemson game. I feel like it's going to primetime game. You're really going to see what – nobody gets a preseason in college football. So, this is a game that's going to go one towards the standings, and it's going to set the tone for a lot of people's season. But what's y'all biggest game for next week?
I have to, just because for the sake of argument, and my father out of all people had me thinking about some things. Georgia versus Clemson is the game. I think it's the most intriguing, probably the most intense this first week of college football. I like seeing these type of matchups, 3 versus 5, right? 3 versus 2, I believe.
Nah,
2.
I know
Oklahoma's 2.
Yeah, I know Georgia is probably 3. I know it's a
top 5 matchup. It's like 3-5, I think.
I don't know.
Still, it doesn't matter. I like to see these in the schedule, instead of the little cupcakes at the beginning. I like to see this. But I think Miami and Alabama is going to be a good game. I did a little bit more research into De'Aaron King, and I think he's going to be an NFL first-round draft pick this upcoming year. if all goes well for him, he stays healthy. So, do I expect Alabama to lose to Miami? No, but I think it might be closer than what people might expect.
I guess most interesting will be the UCLA LSU game. I guess
that's next week.
I thought they played Texas A&M. No. Yeah, you're right. You played at LSU. You're right.
Right, I thought we talking about the first week though. UCLA play today?
Yeah,
no, UCLA play somebody today. I don't know.
UCLA plays today, yes, but they also play LSU next week.
Next week, okay, that's what I was thinking. 'Cause I thought they didn't play this week.
Yeah,
because I heard on College Game Day today they was talking about LSU. So
yeah,
I assume they didn't play because no one else plays today.
Yeah, but I guess that'll be the most interesting game. But
I forgot about that game. That was a good pick.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean,
I'm not gonna watch it. I'm just saying. I feel like
this man.
They're two even teams, so I feel like that's
interesting.
Exactly.
I mean,
I could.
Y'all was talking about Chip Kelly being on the hot seat.
I feel like
Coach O, if he can prove if he can bounce back, there are a lot of storylines.
Important though anymore.
I mean,
it's gonna be overhyped. Like
you know my motto, dude. I don't care about anybody other than Alabama, so I had to pick somebody. Obviously, I
haven't done anything.
I mean, obviously, I care about that Alabama.
LSU
Miami
gonna be
game,
overhyped because they're gonna need somebody to hype up in the SEC.
What other games are there to talk about? We already talked about Clemson.
There's gonna be a
like
it's gonna add to their strength of schedule. So yes,
we talk about Ohio State and
the winner,
Florida and Citadel. What do you want me to talk about?
Yeah, the winner of that game will be it's gonna go towards their strength of schedule. So I mean I can see why that would be a big game. Anyway, we're going to move on to our preseason conference championship picks. We're going to start with the Pac-12. I got Oregon beating USC. The reason I say Oregon this year is because really pretty much in that conference, those two teams go back and forth. So it's Oregon's turn to win. USC won last year. Yeah, I don't really see it being – I don't know whether to call it a bounce-back year because I feel like Oregon going to probably trip up at some point along their schedule. But yeah, I still got them winning the Pac-12. So, yeah. Who y'all got winning the Pac-12?
Oregon. Eventually, I believe all of these conferences are going to dismantle because of the SEC gaining so much dominance and with Texas and Oklahoma moving over. But this is only a two-team conference, Oregon and USC. I think both teams going to be good this year, competitive. But I think Oregon, like Brandon just said, they kind of go back and forth, and USC got the best of them last year, so I think Oregon gonna turn around this year. They had a good recruiting class coming back, and still had a couple of seniors. So
you got them. Who you got them playing against?
USC.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I got Oregon over
Maybe
USC.
Arizona State. I'm sorry.
You said Arizona.
Possibly Arizona State. Probably honorable mention.
Shout out to Herm Edwards.
Yeah. I got Oregon over USC, and I'm gonna do Will's picks as well. For the sake of time, he does his real picks, and he likes to do picks where he goes out on the limb. So the first pick will be the ones that he wants to be held to, and then the second one is just some ones where he's saying, "Watch out for these teams." And he's got Oregon over USC, and then Washington over UCLA.
Moving on to the Big 12. This conference don't have two divisions, so it's really the top two teams. I'm gonna go with Texas and Oklahoma. I feel like this conference is still pretty much whoever can score the most points, that's how we're gonna win. So Texas went and got Sarkisian. He's a I ain't gonna say a great offensive play caller, but he's been successful at his job. So they're going to put up points. And Oklahoma's still Oklahoma. They got the Heisman front runner at this point. So, when Spencer Rattler. But who y'all got in the Big 12?
Oklahoma. Oklahoma over Texas. Again, maybe possible. Honorable mention, Baylor.
I got Oklahoma over Iowa State. I just found out today that that's a rematch from last year. But, yeah, I feel like those are the two best teams. Will got Oklahoma over Texas and TCU over Baylor.
Big Ten, I got Ohio State over Wisconsin, and the reason I say that is because that's pretty much just that's what the Big Ten has been. I mean, these two teams play pretty much play each other. You might get an Iowa in there some year. You might get Michigan State, but for the most part, it's really Ohio State and Wisconsin. So. Still don't. I feel like Wisconsin gonna do what they always do: trip up at some point. Ohio State might trip up at some point. So, but this point in the season, I'm going with Ohio State and Wisconsin. Who y'all got?
Ohio State over Michigan.
They're in the same division.
They're in the same division.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wisconsin, Minnesota,
Northwestern.
Yeah.
I think Minnesota on the other side.
Yeah.
If that's the case, if I had to go that way, I'm going Ohio State and Minnesota because I do not have faith in Wisconsin. Wisconsin always those teams that's ranked in the top 10, top 15, and always hovering around the top 5 and always find a way to mess it up or show when they get into the big moment that they're not that type of squad. Who else we have? We looking in there. Penn State also another team that does the exact same thing. Hovers around the top 20, gets a little bit of hype, and then when the moment comes, they wet the bed. Who else we have in there?
I like James Franklin.
They got.
I like James Franklin as a coach, but it doesn't mean he's gonna get them to the promised land. I think they are what they are, a good team, but not no team we should keep hyping up as someone who's gonna compete.
You got Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska, Northwestern, Purdue, and Wisconsin.
Okay, none of those teams. Okay, I said what I said about Wisconsin. Purdue is no.
Northwestern, Nebraska.
Northwestern is probably the only team in there I can see actually being competitive and challenging for a top 15 spot, and probably challenging Ohio State. I won't say making.
Oh, go ahead.
I won't say to like beating them, but probably make it to the Big Ten championship. But right now, we're looking at that. I see Ohio State, Minnesota.
Is Lovie Smith still at Illinois?
I don't know.
Interesting. But yeah, for the Big Ten, I got Ohio State over Wisconsin for all the reasons mentioned above. Will has Ohio State over Iowa, and then Michigan Michigan beating Northwestern.
Moving on to the ACC, I got Clemson beating North Carolina. I like Mac Brown. I mean, they played pretty well last year, his first year in the pandemic and everything, and I feel like he's probably gonna turn around that program. They're gonna be able to recruit because he was able to recruit. I feel like if you can recruit at Texas, you can recruit anywhere. So he's able to recruit get recruits that he wasn't able to get. Those what's the North Carolina, South Carolina, that coastal line area. You're still not too far from Florida, Georgia. Still pretty much all the SEC and ACC are basically bidding for the same recruit. With that being said, I still don't think I still think Dabo has an established program already. So I think North Carolina gonna continue to be there, but not this year. So who y'all got in the ACC?
I got Miami over Clemson. Honorable mention North Carolina. I do believe Miami probably will lose against Alabama, but compared to the rest of the field in their conference, in their division, they're a solid team, and they bring it back a lot of pieces. And I think this team is actually capable of doing something decent this year, better than most than expected. And I don't think Clemson is dominant, and I don't think Clemson is the same team that's been winning a couple of championships and getting into the national championship. So
we haven't debuted our new segment, Let's Try This Again, yet, but I promise you, that take, it will be on there.
It will.
But I got Clemson over
Is that far-fetched?
We'll come back to it. I got Clemson over North Carolina, and then I got and Will has Clemson over Pitt and Duke over Florida State.
That's far-fetched.
Hey man.
Our last Power 5 school conference is, of course, the SEC. This year I'm going Bama and Georgia. I feel like Florida lost a lot of pieces last year to the draft, so they're gonna. It's not that they're rebuilding, but they're rebuilding. I feel like they can probably be in there like 10-3, 9-4 area. It really comes down to one game, Florida Georgia. So I feel like Georgia probably could run the table this year. They got a quarterback that's coming back off of playing well at the end of the season last year. So it's probably gonna be Bama and Georgia and Atlanta. So who y'all got in the SEC? I'm not wrong when I'm right.
I got Alabama over UGA. Honorable mention, like my squad, Florida. I just don't know what Emory Harris is gonna do this year. I don't know how our offense is gonna look. I don't know how Dan Mullen gonna get the guys to come back, and I just don't know this year. I see us hovering around 9 wins, 10 wins, but I don't see us really pushing for no playoff spot this year. I hope I'm wrong, but I think UGA is really good this year and can challenge and beat Alabama. And I'm not gonna say much about UGA. Forget them, but yeah, they're gonna make it, I guess.
I got Bama over Georgia. It's not really because I think Georgia is just so great. It's just because their schedule is kind of trash, and if they get past Clemson, they really don't have anything to worry about. I think for all the reasons Kevin said, Florida's not going to be good. Dan Mullen won't be able to lean on corona outbreaks and loud fans for reasons why he lost. Maybe he can get the other team to tie their shoes harder so his players won't throw their cleats. But I don't know. I just don't see Florida being competitive this year. They could finish second. I could see them finishing third or fourth in the East, being honest. But Will has Bama over Georgia and then Florida over Auburn. And then since we're doing far-fetched ones, FC said Alabama over Tennessee.
Bama over Vanderbilt.
Okay.
Missouri.
Anchor down.
South
I don't care
Carolina.
about Vanderbilt no more. They fire my boy Derek Mason.
Hey, man. Anyway, staying. Oh yeah, we got one more. We're gonna pick the playoffs. I got Bama, Georgia, Clemson, and Ohio State. I feel like the Pac-12 gonna do what they always do. Oklahoma gonna have 2 losses, and yeah. So
you have Clemson. Who you have winning the first game? Clemson or Georgia?
Georgia.
And you have Clemson running the table after that.
Yes.
Okay. And then you have Georgia losing just one to
us.
That would be interesting. I would love to see what they would do with that. You said Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, and who?
Ohio State.
I like that. I want to see that one.
Yeah, man.
That
yes. I feel like Oklahoma will have too many losses. The Pac-12 gonna do what they do, and we just explained the rest of it. So who you got?
I got Alabama, UGA, Ohio State, and then Oklahoma. Did I say Oklahoma already?
No.
Yeah, Oklahoma. I think those are the 4 best teams that we're gonna see this year.
And you also have Georgia beating Clemson. Huh.
I have Miami beating Clemson, so.
I mean, I heard that part, but I'm saying okay. So I guess I'm the only person picking Clemson, and then we'll come back to that next week.
Why not?
Well, not next week, in 2 weeks. Maybe we'll debut it then. But yes, I have Clemson. Okay, I'll have Georgia.
Yes.
Okay.
Who's your playoff team?
You said your playoff teams were who?
Alabama, UGA, Ohio State, and Oklahoma. I think those are the 4 best teams, and they all have not so much of difficult path to the playoffs. Georgia got a little scuffles, but I don't think it's nothing that this team this year can handle. So can't handle. So
makes sense. I got Bama, Clemson, Ohio State, and Oklahoma. And Will has Bama, Clemson, and then the rest of the field because basically it doesn't really matter and they kind of trash. But he did mention Oregon, Texas, and UGA. So those could be some wild cards to fit that field. And who did y'all have winning? Who did you have winning, Kevin? I just needed to get it on record.
Yeah, I say I jinx y'all, so I'm gonna say it.
All right, well, cool. I got us winning, and Will also has us winning.
I have Alabama winning.
Nah, keep that same energy. Say it with your chest. Say it if Florida was winning.
No.
Who you got winning? Who you got winning?
No, I have Alabama beating Oklahoma.
We were playing the first round. You used to have Oklahoma as your fourth team.
No, I think they're gonna be probably the 2 3rd seed.
And who you have us playing?
Got to be
Clemson.
2 3rd seed because UGA gonna have a loss or something.
UGA would be. I don't know. They'd probably be third, just for semantics for you.
Clemson.
If they,
Clemson.
You have us. I mean, they could play Clemson and beat them. So
They would have to play Clemson twice, and I don't think they're going to win the rematch.
Oh, okay. So you have us beating Clemson, and you have us beating Oklahoma. Yeah, I have us beating Clemson as well.
Spencer Rattler gonna be the best player on the field though.
There's been a lot of that's happened before.
I don't know about that. I think Bryce
got
Young is
nothing to
gonna
do
have
with
something to say about that.
It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
It depends on if the defense can stop people enough. That's why I don't have them in.
Okay. Well, shout out to all the quarterbacks.
Yes. With that being said, we're gonna move right on to quarterback battles in the NFL. Right. We got Jameis and Taysom Hill in New Orleans. I'm gonna go with Jameis. I feel like he's proven that he's the better option in preseason. I feel like he can take them farther. Taysom Hill showed last year that he was kind of limited, so I would go with Jameis. Yes, he's also coming from an offense where they expected him to throw the ball downfield. He's not gonna have to throw the ball downfield as much. Yes, they're gonna take the big play, but I feel like a lot less mistakes are gonna happen now because he's under Sean Payton, different offense, and Jameis was the number 1 overall pick for a reason. So who y'all got here, Jameis or Taysom Hill?
I mean, well, it's already official that Jameis Winston is QB1.
That's what I'm saying.
So we don't have no choice but to go with Jameis. But if I was,
the segment is who would you pick? I was just making sure.
I gotta finish letting them know. Gotta finish the soliloquy.
Glad he learned that word this week.
No, my train of thought. But anyway, what was that? Jameis Winston. By the looks of it, and by the from previous stints and Taysom Hill body of work, it was easy for Jameis Winston to be the starter. I feel like Taysom Hill is that athletic weapon that they put in like the quarterback position, running back, receiver, kick return, punt return, whatever. He's a gadget guy that they like to use in different ways. If you make him the starter, then you can't use that anymore. And Jameis Winston's not that guy to come in and do that same stuff Taysom Hill do. So it makes more sense for Jameis Winston to be the starter quarterback. He's been in this situation before. When you throw for 30 touchdowns in the league, you have some talent and have potential. Although it came with 30 interceptions, I believe, a year under Drew Brees, a year under Sean Payton's system, you would definitely see an improvement in Jameis Winston. And also in the preseason, you could see that he's focused and he's still sharp. And like Brandon said, he was the number 1 pick for a reason, you know. Through all the adversity and the crab legs stolen out of Publix, he's still a good quarterback.
Yeah. I'm going Jameis. I feel like this is a no-brainer. I don't understand why it was even a competition. I also don't understand why Sean Payton gave Taysom Hill an extension. That's kind of dumb, knowing that you already have cap issues. But, you know, I'm not the GM.
You can avoid any.
You know he white, right?
I mean, I do. And, yes, you can, but you still have to pay it. Like, it's not just going to go away.
But he's also an impact player on the team.
I mean, I get that,
just
but
because he's
you
not
could have
starting doesn't mean.
Yeah, but you don't have to give him $14 million. You can give him like $6, $7.
That is.
for someone who's been there that long and
am I paying
much?
You long term, like? Am I giving you a benefits package for what you did in the past, or am I giving you a contract for what I expect you to do?
I mean, but will you void when the contract is voidable every year and you're only paying them $14 million like that? You can cut it off. There's no strings.
I mean, but
to it.
when you are already struggling with your cap, you can't go out and sign another receiver. You have to let safeties and linebackers walk. I don't think that a gadget guy is worth $14 million.
I mean, it depends on who you was gonna go out there and get. Was you gonna go out there and spend money on a whole bunch of?
I mean, Malik Hooker was out there. There were some corners out there. I don't know. I wasn't looking that hard. I'm just saying there were other options than a gadget guy. You can draft a tight end. You can draft a backup quarterback. I don't know. But yeah, I would have gone Jameis. Like you said, he's learned under Drew Brees. I feel like other than that last year with Tampa, it wasn't really picks that was his problem. It was fumbles. Like his highest pick season before that was 18. I want to say that was his rookie year, but I'm not 100% sure. So all that being said, if he can learn under Sean Payton and cut that down, then yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. With that being said, we're gonna move on to another one that's already official. But I was gonna go with Teddy Bridgewater anyway over Drew Lock. I said that when we discussed the AFC West, so I'm not gonna re-harp on that too long. I felt like this was Teddy's team anyway. It was just all a matter of time. But who y'all got here? Teddy Bridgewater or Drew Lock?
Not surprised. Teddy Bridgewater came in, did what he had to do. I'm always gonna be a supporter of Teddy Bridgewater. Shout out to Dade County. Shout out to Liberty City. But yeah, Teddy Bridgewater came and did what he had to do. Now he's the starter. I'm happy. I thought Drew Lock was gonna come in and be better, be more precise and sharp, and try to hold off Teddy for as long as he could. But it happened sooner than later. So it is what it is. Teddy Bridgewater definitely gonna get this team at least by 9 games. Von Miller back too. I'm interested.
Post-draft, my answer would have been... pre-draft, my answer would have been Teddy Bridgewater. And then I would have said try to move on from Drew Lock and then draft a quarterback. But since they didn't, my answer is Drew Lock, because your whole thought process in the draft was, we're going to give Drew Lock another chance. We're going to put pieces around him to see what he can do. And then you pass on Mac, Justin. I think, no, there wasn't another quarter. Those were the last two. All the other ones went top 3. But you passed on Mac and Justin, and you stick with Drew Lock, and he doesn't start. That doesn't make sense. Like, are you trying to move on from him, and you just, like, now you can't even raise his draft stock? So that doesn't mean, like, his trade value. That doesn't make sense. So you really just fumbled the season, really. Like, you could have done the same exact thing, got off of Drew Lock while his stock was kind of high, and then got a quarterback. But I don't know what their plan is. It doesn't look good on Drew Lock's part that Teddy Bridgewater was able to come in and take the job. I'm not saying that he's not good enough to take the job at some point, but to come in already and take the job, that's not looking good for you. So I don't know what his future is, but.
Next up, we're going to do Andy Dalton and Justin Fields. I'm going to say Andy Dalton because, I mean, yes, Justin Fields looked good in the first preseason game, but he looked, in the second one. You know what I'm saying? Let him get some more mental reps. And maybe by the time the season starts, he will be ready. But I think me right now, personally, I would still go Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton was I forgot how many Pro Bowls he had, but his first 9 seasons he was in the playoffs. So, I mean, he can play. And he got hurt last year, so we can't really count last season. Yeah, I would go with Andy Dalton. Who would y'all go with here?
To start off, I would go with Andy Dalton because a lot of people has been putting an emphasis on the Chicago's offensive line, and I'm with him. Like, you got to protect your young assets. You know, I know everybody want to win. I know everybody think the Chicago Bears have an elite defense. They have great receivers. They have a solid running back that this team can go in and win. Even if Justin Fields come in and performs well, I still don't see this team winning the Super Bowl or going to the Super Bowl. I mean, yeah, they could probably make the playoffs, but I mean, is it really worth your young asset coming in there getting his head rung the whole season and probably not lasting the season because there's nothing to protect him and he has to keep running for his life? You know, that's not the right situation to put him in. You should let him be able to sit behind Andy Dalton for about 4 or 5 weeks. Let the game, let him just sit there, watch the game, get an understanding of what's going on, how it is going to happen from a different perspective instead of just being on the field and like a deer in the headlights. Just, you know, some people are made to come in there and do that. Like maybe just Trevor Lawrence, you know, is going to come in and start all the way, right away, and he should be probably on the bench and watching. You know, Trey Lance the same. Who else we have?
Old boy from New York.
Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's probably the only person that probably can come right in and start because you're in New York. At this point, it's like, well, and it's. I would say, you know, he should sit the bench, but it's New York. Who was he gonna sit the bench and learn from? So he's the only. So he has no choice but to come in there and start. And actually, he's kind of set up in a better situation, you know, because you know, he don't have nothing to lose. I think Justin Fields needs to just sit back. I just went on a spree, but I'm sorry.
I'm going Justin Fields. Andy Dalton did all that talking about it's his time. No, dude, your time was in Cincinnati. You didn't do much with it. Got to deal with it. It's okay. You had the opportunity last year with the Cowboys. You didn't do anything with it. It's okay. I don't understand the concept of sitting him for 5 weeks. It's not like the line is going to get better in 5 weeks. We've seen with Matt Ryan, if you have a terrible line, it's not going to work with somebody that's a statue quarterback. It's better to have a mobile quarterback. That way he can extend and make plays. And then you can also change up the playbook. You can run different stuff, actually utilize his skill set, and he's more accurate to me than Andy Dalton is right now. So if you're going to have to be running if you're going to have to be throwing where you're running for your life, you will want somebody that's more accurate. But hey, I'm not the coach. I didn't pay him, give him a backdoor deal to tell him to come there. So.
I mean, you could save hits, you know.
I mean, I guess, but
we got next up. We got Jimmy G and Trey Lance. I'm gonna still go with Jimmy G. When we just like we did last week, we discussed the NFC West. So I said that Jimmy, this is really his last shot. He got to prove that he can play. And yes, he did take them to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. But right now they have the team set up to be successful. So, and it's a quarterback right on your heels that can play. But I didn't really. Yes, Trey Lance was throwing the ball down the field. He had some plays in the preseason, but I feel like Jimmy knows the offense. So by week 5, if you haven't proven that you ready to take this team to a different height, hey, put the rookie in there. That's what he's here for. So who y'all got here?
Going with Jimmy G. When Jimmy G plays, they win. And 9 times out of 10, when he's not playing, that's because he's injured. So if Jimmy G stays healthy, I believe he's good enough to get this team back to the playoffs, and I believe this team is good enough to still make a Super Bowl run with Jimmy G as the starter. Trey Lance is coming from North Dakota State. Not a lot of games under his belt. He did perform well in the preseason, had some explosive plays, but he also did have some traits of looking like a rookie. And I also said for the Justin Fields, I say the same thing for all of them. I think it's good for them sometimes to come back and not just rush the play and actually see the game on the sideline and understand what's going on before you just go out there and just do things. I think it's benefits within waiting. Not everybody is a Patrick Mahomes or, Josh Allen that can come straight in and do what they do,
Patrick Mahomes waited.
I mean, yeah, but yeah, that's even, even more, yeah. Like, wait, Aaron Rodgers, you know what I'm saying? Like, Peyton Manning came in right away and threw the most interceptions ever and got destroyed, looked horrible. So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Trey Lance. Granted, if I was the coach, I probably would have made a different pick at quarterback, one that was more ready to start now. But that's neither here nor there. I feel like you know what Jimmy G is. You didn't handcuff him in the playoffs for no reason. You know that you really don't trust him, and if you don't trust somebody, it's only a matter of time. So you might as well go ahead and get it over with and put him in. That way you can be fully invested and move forward. But yeah.
And the last one, we got Cam and Mac. I'm going to go Cam for the reasons I named when we discussed this conference. I feel like, yes, I mean, there's really no rush here to play. We know that Cam is not going to be the future, but right now, I feel like he's shown that he can. He has a little bit more weapons now than he had last year, for one. And they're a running team anyway. They run the football first. It's not like they out here slinging the ball like the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Cam can get done what they need to get done, and he's he's still a lethal running threat. So you're not gonna get that with Mac. It's not like the Patriots out here whipping the ball around all over the field. So what do you need a quarterback that? You know what I'm saying? I feel like you add more with Cam, especially in the running game, and that's what they're trying to do. So who y'all got here, Cam or Mac?
Cam Newton, if he stays from COVID and if he stays healthy. Word on the street, Matt Jones is, doing what he have to do in camp, and it's looking real good. I wish him the best, but I think Cam Newton still can perform at elite level. I think Cam Newton can still get the job done and lead this team to the playoffs. So it's Cam's job to lose, and I'm not blaming him if he doesn't want to get the vaccine, so which means he finds himself sometimes in COVID protocol situations because they make it harder for individuals who choose not to get the vaccine. So I'm not going to blame him for choosing his path of not getting the vaccination. And if he chooses to live through that and go through the protocol and things may have happen, I think he could lose his job, but I can't fault him for it.
I'm gonna go Cam. I feel like from my limited non going to practice everyday view, I feel like this is the no-brainer. I don't feel like all of last year's was Cam's fault of why they weren't good. You have new pieces in there. You have the defensive players coming back, so you can. I feel like before he got Rona, he was playing really well. So I feel like if he can get back to that level, he'll be good. If he slacks off, you have a good quarterback in the wings ready to come and step in. So, I mean, we'll talk about it later, though. But he definitely better do what he need to do to hold on to it, because it's not looking like he's going to.
I mean, y'all two pretty much did the fight back segment. That's why I waited till last to do the Cam versus Mac. But dude, which one of y'all said that Cam was gonna he was gonna lose his spot to Rona?
I mean, why not just wait for it?
Well,
because we already kind of.
Are we there now?
Yes.
Oh, well, I mean.
That's why.
Yeah.
It was a segue.
I got you. You didn't announce it.
Well, here we go. Since I got to announce it, exactly. Let me put on my announcer voice. Well, we're moving right on to our fight back segment. This is where somebody makes a statement and they have to defend it. So, like I said, which one of y'all think that Cam is going to lose his spot to Rona?
I do. It's not necessarily that I think he's going to get it, because he didn't even get it this time. He just left the area. I mean, one, you got to know that those are the rules. You can't do that. But I feel like it's just like with Cole Beasley. He didn't get it. It was somebody in the system, like somebody, I think
contact
it was the trainer.
Tracing.
Right, the contact tracing. I find it highly doubtful that he's going to go a whole season without being in the protocol again. And if he misses a game and Matt comes in there and lights it up, it's a wrap.
But yeah, that's the NFL. That's how Brady got his job.
I know. I'm just saying. That's
fair. You got any thoughts?
But I mean, that's basically what I was saying. Like, I'm not finna fault him for choosing not to get the vaccination and go through that process. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey man, I'm not faulting him.
If that, like, I'm agreeing with Jordan though. If that was to happen, and Mac Jones come in there and goes crazy, he's not getting his job back, and that's the only way I see Cam Newton losing his position is if something like that happens or if he gets hurt. I don't think Mac just gonna come in and just take his spot. Cam too good.
I felt like this aside, I felt like there was a chance towards the end of the season if he fell off that he could have lost his job. But I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm just saying this is the life you chose. So I'm just giving you the reality of what's more than likely going to happen. Yeah. And other than the Falcons, I don't see anybody picking him up.
In the great extent, no, I'm not going to say that.
So let's enjoy. If this is the last season of Cam, let's enjoy it.
Let's do it. And I think he's going to stay healthy.
I believe in him staying healthy. I don't know if he's going to make it through the whole season.
With that being said, we're going to move on to our Ozzy the Chipper segment. We still working in, this is our last week of NFL quarterbacks because we're getting close to the season. We're going to move on to the NFL North. We're going to start with Jared Goff. I say he's probably at like a 6. Nobody's really expecting him. Shout out to Bobby Cox. Yeah, I don't think he's expected to go out and win a championship this year. I mean, it's Detroit. I really at this point think it's about the money. He had his shot in L.A. He blew it. He finna be Matt Stafford. Get a lot of money. Put up stats. Get your team to the playoffs sometimes, but
sometime.
He also had Megatron on his team.
Maybe one.
Maybe one or two. You know,
out of the next 2 years.
Give Detroit fans something to talk about because they. Anyway, yeah. But how y'all feel about Jared Goff?
Give him a 5. Who number 5?
Reggie Bush in college.
Oh yeah, a cool Christian McCaffrey 5, Reggie Bush 5. I don't think it's many expectations in Detroit. I don't think they're expected to do much, and him coming into a new situation, he might have something to prove to the masses. He probably has something to prove to the Rams, to himself, that he is a Super Bowl caliber quarterback and he can get the job done. The Rams kind of gave up on him. McVay gave up on him after he did nothing but get them to the Super Bowl and get them to playoff victories, you know. So if that's the case, that's the pressure he has on himself. But overall, with the Lions, I don't think they're expected to do anything. So I go like Reggie Bush 5.
I'm gonna go with Cristiano Ronaldo 7. Shout out to him. He went back to Man U, not Man City, Man U. We're gonna get our boy EK on here one of these days. He got to talk. We got a lot of soccer stuff we got to talk about. But yeah, for the reasons said, he don't really have a lot of pressure on him, but he was still a number 1 pick, so you can't go out there and stink it up.
Yeah, all right. Next up, we got Kirk Cousins. I'm going to go with Terry Pendleton 9. Shout out to Miss Lila May. Yes, that was her favorite player. Yeah, Kirk Cousins has gotten his money. He had a defense around him. They've made it to conference championship games. At this point, why are we still keeping you here if you're not making our team better? Y'all have a good running back. Y'all have good receivers. I don't understand. At this point, y'all have no reason why y'all shouldn't win. So, I mean, yes, y'all playing a conference with Aaron Rodgers, but you got to win. This is how much pressure you on. That's the whole point in this segment. So, yeah, win. Who y'all got? How y'all feel about Kirk Cousins? Not his whole career. Him in Minnesota.
Him in Minnesota?
The pressure he's under.
LeBron James 6. All he has to do is get the Vikings to the playoffs. At this point, we're looking at this team this year. This team I don't think can win the Super Bowl unless Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, all of them just kind of like really click. Now this team has the talent to probably make a run, but I don't know if they could really push because of Kirk Cousins. So Kirk Cousins, for me, has a LeBron James 6 to show that he's not what we already have come to conclusion to think of him, which is a decent quarterback who stat pads and he's going to get decent numbers, not to look trash, but he's not going to win the game for you. So at this point, I think Kirk Cousins needs to show us that he can do that. But this team right now, to me, is projected. It's probably be 6-7 playoff spot.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Tiny Archibald 10. I feel like if the division was to be won, this is your time to do it. And Green Bay, they have, you don't know what they're gonna do because they all up in flux. You got Chicago with a rookie quarterback if he starts, and then you got Andy Dalton if he doesn't, and then you got the Lions. So you should win this division. Well, from the outside in, not me saying that, but yeah. And I feel like I can't remember exactly where I heard this, but like it's once you say you're not getting the vaccine, you get this scarlet letter, and basically they was saying like what would the fans think if because they already don't like him because they missed the playoffs last year. He's up and down, all that yada yada, and if he was like week 14, week 15, they go to Green Bay for the division, and then he gets in the protocol and he can't play. What would they think of him then? That's basically the premise he was making. So for all of those reasons, I feel like it's a level of 10 of pressure for him.
Next up, we got Andy Dalton. I'm gonna say a Chipper Jones 10. If y'all haven't figured out the trend, I'm doing all Braves players here. Yeah, I'm doing 10. You got, I don't know if anybody's ever had like a dog bite at your ankles. That's what he has right now. Justin Fields is hot on the trail. He want to come in and play as a rookie. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like Andy Dalton's career to play is on the line right here. He can still be in the league and be a backup. He can be Matt Schaub, Colt McCoy, but I don't really think that's what he want to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if anybody, I don't know any other quarterback that just signs up to be a backup quarterback. So with that being said, I feel like Andy Dalton is under a tremendous amount of pressure to go out there and be decent. So yeah, how y'all got where y'all got Andy Dalton at?
10. Might be 10. I think it's time for Andy Dalton to bounce back for these past couple of seasons of mediocrity he produced. Although I say Justin Fields should sit, can't deny his ability, can't deny his talent, can't deny that the fans want him, can't deny that he was a top 15 pick for the Chicago Bears, and this is a franchise transcending type player that they want and have. So the pressure on him is high to go out there and perform, and to not lose his job, or this, like you said, Brandon, did his career on the line. He go out there and he sweat the bed and stink it up. He probably will never get another starting job again. He's going to be a backup player. He's going to end up finding his way slowly to the ESPN broadcast booth, and he's going to be sitting there calling the game instead of playing the game. So, yeah, pressure is on him high.
I'm gonna go Derek Jeter 2. I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna go 10 because of him saying that it's his team and that his time is now and all that other stuff. But I don't feel like that would be fair because I don't think he's good enough to play to the expectations of someone to where they can hold off Justin Fields. So for me to put the pressure on him to go out there knowing that I don't think he can live up to that, I don't think that that's fair. Plus, I think he's really just he got a backdoor promise of you gonna start a couple of games, we gonna get a quarterback, and then you just after those couple of games, if you don't do what you need to do, you out of here. So that's why I don't feel like it's a lot of pressure for him. Yeah.
Next up, we got the big talk of the offseason, Mr. Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to go another Chipper Jones 10. He talked all that. He talked the whole offseason. Talked about almost retiring. He pulled a Brett Favre, basically. He was like, yo, do something or I'm up out of here. And y'all can keep my rights. I don't care. I made my money. So yeah, I feel like he's under a tremendous amount of pressure to go win a Super Bowl. Not make it to a Super Bowl, not losing the conference championship game. He has to win a Super Bowl because they've been to the NFC championship 2 games in a row. They've looked bad in NFC championship games 2 games in a row. So everybody, it's like we talked about, it's his legacy on the line at this point. You got 1 Super Bowl ring, and that was 11 years ago. So Aaron Rodgers is great. There's no undenying his talent, but at this point, you play quarterback. You are the leader of that team, so you have to lead your team to a Super Bowl. He's automatically a Hall of Famer, but, I mean, still, 11 years ago.
I agree. The pressure is a 10 on Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers, Matt LaFleur, all of them. But in Aaron Rodgers in particular, like you said, all of this over the offseason, you demanded respect. You went through a lot with the general managers. You feel it unwanted. You contemplating retirement, maybe pondering to be traded. I think you need to go out there and just show everybody who you are. Like last year when they said you was washed and you couldn't do it, you came out there and you won the MVP. Now this year they trying to still not respect you and try to still push you out the door and act like you not one of the greatest of all time. Come out there and win the Super Bowl. Do the same thing Tom Brady do. You want to be compared to those type of players like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning and stuff. I feel like talent-wise you up there with them. But in order to be really talked about and respected with them, you have to win another Super Bowl. And more than likely have to beat Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes just to validate the ring to the masses. So the pressure is on Aaron Rodgers.
I'm gonna go with Aaron Rodgers 12. If you remember, I think it might have been the last episode or a couple episodes ago when we did the West. I said that Matt Stafford had the most pressure. Aaron Rodgers definitely has the second most pressure. Now I was thinking I could be petty and say Tom Brady 12, but and say that he'll never be Tom Brady any other time, so might as well give it to him here. But I decided against it. I feel like
Did you? Did you?
Yeah, I did. I went because I feel like all you did in the offseason just for you to come back, you definitely got to go out there and win the Super Bowl. Like Brendan said, not make it to the conference championship because you did that 2 years in a row and stunk it up. You can't make it to the Super Bowl and lose because that's not going to move any needles. So you got to win the Super Bowl, bro. It's just that simple. And you also prove why they don't listen to you. Like, bro, you did all that crying for Randall Cobb and you say you wanted Clay Matthews back. Clay Matthews wasn't even good when he was with Green Bay. And then I think he left and went to the Raiders, maybe. Rams. And he was trash. So
They still paying him, though.
Hey, man, all I'm saying is you showed, like, if you would have went out there and not even, like, big name people, but people that can actually fit in the system, then they might have listened to you. But you proved why. Like, all right, you just talking.
Next, we're going to move over to the AFC North. We're still in that North anyway. Joe Burrow. I say a Dale Murphy 3. They still don't have an offensive line. Jamar Chase has been mud in the preseason. They still don't have an offensive line. That I don't really have too much to say about this. It's not his fault. They showed him last year how they felt about him. So Cincinnati going Cincinnati. So how y'all feel about this?
Just Russell Westbrook 0 for Joe Burrow with pressure. He's coming off a torn ACL. He already showed flashes of being a solid pro in this league, and his trajectory is on the up. Like you said, Jamar Chase has been looking cool in the preseason. Don't know why the Bengals or North Falcons decided to go offensive line past draft. And I think it's going to come back and bite them. Cincinnati, like you said, is going to Cincinnati. This team is not a team that wants to build, wants to be a playoff contender, wants to win a Super Bowl, wants to give the fans a decent product on the field. You have great players, and yet you're not trying to protect them. You have a great color scheme. You have great uniforms, and yet y'all look good out there to be trash. So it's like, I don't think they want to win. And the Bengals been like that all the way dating back to the days of Carson Palmer and Chad Ochocinco.
Yeah, I'm gonna go AI3. It's not your fault that they went out there and drafted a receiver who can't catch, when they could have gotten a generational talent in a O-lineman. It's not your fault. You didn't have that choice. It's not your fault that you're going to be running for your life. But, I mean, it doesn't seem to matter for you. You could start week 1 and run for your life the whole season. But everybody else, they got to sit back and wait. That makes... But I'm going to go AI3 because, like I said, it's not a lot of pressure. But you are still the number 1 pick. So, it's some pressure.
Hey, man. Next up, I got the quarterback that I think is going to win the AFC North. Baker Mayfield. I'm gonna go Freddie Freeman 5. They don't really put the Baker Mayfield is supposed to be a game manager in his offense. So as long as he can do that and let Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt just do what they do and lean on their defense, he'll be fine. I feel like the matchup gonna be them in Baltimore, and I feel like now I ain't gonna say they got a better team, but they got a better team. So. Shout out to Baker Mayfield. How y'all feel about Baker Mayfield?
Tyrone Lue 10. You gotta show me. Odell Beckham Jr. is back in the lineup. Juice Landry, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb. Expectations. You gotta show me you could perform under real big time pressure. You gotta show me that you can put your ego to the side and actually ball with Odell. Odell gotta show me that he can go out there and actually not cry if he's not getting the ball. And if they're losing and he's not getting the ball, let's see how that really works. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that's going to go on with the Browns this season. I don't think it's going to be hotcakes. So the pressure is on him. You got to show me, Baker Mayfield. Show me that a Ravens fan is supposed to sit here and say, yeah, this team is better than us, or this team can really win the division over us. I don't believe in you yet.
I'm going to go with. Oh, my bad. I'm out here like Kevin. Sorry. I'm gonna go with a. Since it's Cleveland, I'm gonna go with the Cleveland D Wade 9. I don't feel like the world pressure is on you, but I feel like you got to prove it, bro. You didn't get an extension. You were saying that you wanted one, but they didn't trust in you. Like I mean. You still have a year left, so you have time. But if I was them, I would have done it. I feel like you're not gonna get much better, and it's not really like you're gonna recruit to Cleveland. Like who gonna come there? Aaron Rodgers? Like Deshaun Watson? Who? Like But other than that, I don't know. I feel like they have all the pieces to be great. There are people, including myself, out there picking them to win the division. So. You have at least that much pressure on you. So I feel like you got to live up to it. I get it that your team is a run-first team and you're more so of a A.J. McCarron type. You kind of support when you need to, but you need to show up when you need it because you did lose to a backup quarterback in the playoffs. So.
The Ravens, Lamar Jackson. I'm gonna go with a Jeff Francoeur 7. Shout out to Frenchie. I feel like they're gonna be in the playoff hunt. They're not going. I don't think they're gonna miss the playoffs, but I also don't think they're gonna win the division. Their receiving core is not solid enough. What if somebody get hurt? Then what? One receiver go down, y'all through. So yeah, I'm going Jeff Francoeur 7. Shout out to Lamar Jackson though. He gonna ball this year.
I was just about to say, shout out to Lamar Jackson. That's my quarterback.
All right, T.O.
Don't cry on here.
I'm dead. I'm gonna say Lamar Jackson has a 6 for pressure this year. I don't think Lamar Jackson will be the cause of any shortcomings that we have. Like you said, the main thing about us is receivers. We have a solid defense. We have DBs. We have a running back. We have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Yes, we traded Orlando Brown to the Chiefs, but we still have a solid offensive line. We still have John Harbaugh. the receiving core scares me because right now everybody is dealing with an injury, as you say. What happens if one go down? All of them are down right now anyway. So
it's preseason. I mean, during the season.
Yeah, but if they're not even healthy to start the season, I mean, I'm not getting much hope. So it's all on Lamar Jackson. And for the past 3-4 years Lamar Jackson been in, it's been on him. So I think he's still underappreciated and undervalued in the league. So I think we're going to the Super Bowl. But
yeah. I went with a Roger Maris point Mickey Mantle, which is 9.7. I feel like he has, well, you can say that he has everything he needs. He has the running game, he has the O-line, he has the defense, he has the receivers, even though I kind of only really believe in Rashad Bateman, and he's hurt. So, other than that, maybe Sammy Watkins every now and then, but I don't know what he's going to bring to you. But to Kevin's point, like, Shannon Sharp says this all the time, if you limp into the season, you're going to limp out of the season. So I don't really have a lot of faith in them staying healthy. But all that being said, and another reason nobody's going to talk about outside of this room is Greg Roman is still the offensive coordinator, and his offenses aren't built to throw the ball down the field. It's mostly like around the line of scrimmage, which is basically a run.
Our only deep threat right now is Mark Andrews.
Yeah, he's a tight end. That's not a good look.
Exactly.
So, yeah. All that being said, if it was me, I wouldn't have a lot of pressure on Lamar Jackson. I would say like a 2-3. But outside of this room, nobody cares about anything that I just said. They just see that Lamar Jackson is a quarterback and they have a team built to win. And if he doesn't win, they're going to blame him. So that's why he has 9.7 pressure.
And the last one, we got Big Ben. I say a 10 because he literally can't throw the ball from me to you. So, like, if his shoulder get touched, he's done. And if Dwayne Haskins is halfway decent, they'll still be fine because they still have a defense. They still have pieces around him. If they're able to run the ball this season and Najee is able to get off, then they have a chance to win this division. Even if Pittsburgh don't, I don't know because they play a first place schedule. So I feel like that's the reason I picked them not to win the division because they play a first place schedule and Big Ben's shoulder is trash. So yeah, Chipper Jones 10. How y'all feel about Big Ben this season?
This the last dance for real for Big Ben.
So like a farewell tour.
Yeah, so he got to go out with a bang. So like the pressure, yeah, maybe a 10 if you think of it that way. This is your last. You got to go out with a bang. Go try to win the Super Bowl. I mean, but really it's a 0 because his career is set in stone. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion.
We're talking about this year.
I mean, if it's this year how he ends it, okay, well, 10. You got to started off 11-0 last season, finished the year 11-5, and got dusted in the playoffs.
I want to say they were 10-0.
They was 11-0.
They was 11-0.
Then they lose. I thought they won one game in that little. Once they started losing, didn't they win one more game?
They won the final game.
They went 12-4.
Yeah.
So yeah, started 11-0, went 12-5.
4. It was only 16 games last year.
They lost the playoff.
Yeah, I wouldn't count that. I was talking about.
I mean, shoot. I mean, yeah.
Shoot, if you lost in the first round of the playoffs after starting 11-0, I'm counting it.
Yes,
I feel it, but most of the time people just say their regular season schedule and they start over.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but for the sake of
argument,
yeah, they lost 5 games after starting 11-0.
Yeah, you can't do that. And so there's a lot of you, Ben Roethlisberger. You came back. You pawned your retirement last year. You coming back this year. You know you don't have 12 more years in the tank. You got to come in and get the job done. And if you come in and you get hurt and you lose your starting spot to Dwayne Haskins, that's a horrible way to end your career. So you have to go out there and stay healthy, manage the game. Don't try to do too much. Get the ball to Najee Harris. Spread out the weapons, and the defense is what it is. And Mike Tomlin is who he is. This team is an automatic 10-win team. So if you just go out there and do your job halfway, and like Brandon said, if he gets hurt, and Dwayne Haskins have to come in, so there's a lot of pressure on Bill Roethlisberger to get the job done. It's a lot of pressure on this whole division.
I'm gonna go Terry. Wait, I'm sorry. No, Joe DiMaggio 9. I feel like, for the reasons Kevin said, they started 11-0 and then finished 12-5. That's pathetic. Like, I was saying all last year that they weren't as good as that everybody else was saying, but to fall like that, I didn't think they were that bad. I feel like the only reason I didn't give it a 10 is because, one, their O-line is kind of not good. I'm not really sold on their receivers. Claypool is decent, but he's more of a number 2 than a number 1, and it's just his second year. Corvette is slowing down, so I don't know what's going on with that. He came back for 1 year, and I don't think that this is going to be the season that somebody on a prove-it deal is going to want. And I don't know if their defense is going to stay healthy, because that was really what led them to that 11-0 start. And the fact that I want to say they played a third-place schedule last year. And like Brendan said, they played a first-place schedule. So it's going to be tough. I feel like, and I want to say they play the NFC West as well, if I'm not mistaken. So that's also going to be tough. So yeah, all that saying, I don't have a lot of faith in Ben Roethlisberger, but this can't be a Michael Jordan Bulls. I mean, not Michael Jordan Bulls, a Michael Jordan Wizards year, because they were gonna cut you, and you were gonna get more money than if you came back and restructured your deal. So you can't just have a throw in the towel season. You got to go out there and prove it, bro.
And we're starting a new segment called Penalty Kick. Basically, topics or news that happened over the week, but it's not really headline news. We're going to start off with Travis Etienne getting hurt. That sucks for my fantasy team. I picked him because, I mean, he had a pretty good college career. He wasn't going to be a starter every week, but, yeah, it sucks. They said he probably could come to the end of the year, but Jacksonville, he wasn't a needle mover for Jacksonville anyway. So, how y'all feel about Travis Etienne?
It's unfortunate. Feel better, get well, bounce back soon, I guess. You know, had a good career at Clemson, came in the lead, come back with his quarterback Trevor Lawrence, which is probably was going to get a lot of burn this year too. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it sucks. I feel like I always felt like he was the second best running back in the class, but I felt like the gap wasn't as far from Najee as I wanted to make it to seem. I think like he was a really good running back. I always push back on the narrative that he was better than Najee. But all that being said, it sucks that he won't play this year. It would have helped Trevor Lawrence, and the fact that I believe they traded back up to get him. Mm-hmm. So that kind of sucks.
Next up, Cabrera hit his 500th home run. That's a great feat. I don't know. It's a lot of people who are in that club who won't make the Hall of Fame because they took steroids. So that sucks. But 500 home runs, that means you sustained a career. So shout out to Miggy. How y'all feel about Miggy?
For Miguel, shout out to Miguel Cabrera. For him to get into that club and never have any situations, I believe, with PEDs or anything like that. So, for the most part, he had a great career. He's still going strong. He's one of the best. He's one of the coolest people to watch. He done hit for the Triple Crown, I believe. I believe it was 2011. I was about to say 2012. 2011. Yeah, you was a World Series champion with the Marlins back in the day. Shout out to Miggy.
Yeah. I felt like it was a really cool accomplishment. It's only, dang it, there are 28. He's the 28th person to do it. He's 3 behind Eddie Murray. I'm sorry, Eddie Murray. For 27. So I feel like if he plays another year, maybe he could get to the 20th. Willie McCovey and Ted Williams, Ernie Banks, Eddie Matthews are all tied at 20 with 521 home runs, as well as Frank Thomas. So I feel like that's around as high as he can go. 521, 522. Maybe he can break that tie. I don't see him catching Jimmy Fox with 534. But like Evan said, it was a big accomplishment. I don't really remember him with the Marlins, but I remember it. Well, I do know that that team was really good. They had a lot of good pieces, and then they immediately broke it up.
Yeah, because they're the Marlins.
Yeah.
John Lester and all.
They had to break it up for the money. Anyway, Sonny Michel moved to the Rams. I like that move. I feel like Sean McVay out there building a team that can make a run. They have a great defense. Matthew Stafford tried to prove that he can still play. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Shout out to Sonny Michel. He played well in the Super Bowl, even though they lost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sonny Michel didn't get a lot of burn recently with the Patriots for some odd reason. I don't know. Maybe he just run his course or something. I still think he's a great, solid player who could produce. The Rams looking for another secondary bat to go along with Henderson in the backfield. Probably don't want Henderson to be the every down back. Probably need an different type of running back come in. I think it's gonna work for the Rams. Still a playoff team, just get better.
Yeah, I remember last week, I think it was, where we was talking about how Sonny Michel kind of fell off in the running back group. Damian Harris kind of took his spot. Rex Burkhead and James White are more of the receiving backs, so it wasn't really a spot for Sonny Michel to play. Plus, they just took a running back in the 4th round out of Oklahoma, and he was looking really good. So, I mean, it kind of made sense. The Rams needed a running back. The Patriots didn't really want him. And I just still don't understand, like, why did he take Sonny Michel over Nick Chubb? Like, other than the Rose Bowl and a little bit of the national championship, it was very clear that Nick Chubb was the better running back.
Sonny Michel was more elusive.
I mean, but Nick Chubb,
it was a run between the
if you can, but you see that Nick Chubb can still catch the ball out the backfield. So why not go with somebody, if they pass the ball as much as they do, why not get somebody who can pound the rock inside and still catch the ball? Like, that way you wouldn't have to have all those 3-4 different running backs.
They've always been running back by committee. So
I get that. You can still keep them if you want them, but I'm saying, like, you still have somebody who can do it both if you want him. And he can do what Sonny Michel does better.
I didn't make the pick. I don't know.
I mean, I know. I'm just saying, like, from that perspective, like, why did that didn't make sense to me?
Nick Chubb was also, I think, coming off a torn ACL as well. He was hurt.
No, I think he played that season.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that probably can go into draft stock as well. Sonny Michel coming off a hot little season. He's out there balling.
But it wasn't a hot season. It was a hot 2 games. And
Sonny Michel actually played decent that whole run. That's when they went to the championship.
Yeah.
So decent. Both of them, yeah.
He played really well in the Rose Bowl and then played decent again in the national championship.
And all of this stuff.
He played well in the first half.
All of this stuff is just perception and stuff. Like, in the year that they got hot, he was performing well. Nick Chubb was performing well and stuff, and he was the name that was being popped up the most when he didn't have an injury history.
I don't know. I felt like at no point in time was anybody ever debating if Sonny Michel was better than Nick Chubb. And for you to have both options and to take the one that nobody else was saying that was better, that seems like a Bill Belichick move. And if your team is great and you have greatness around them, you can do stuff like that. But if your team isn't great and you don't have greatness around them, you have to take the surefire. You know this guy will more than likely be better. Pick.
And Dame once again said he's not leaving, but I don't even really know why this is news. He says the same thing every time. So, how y'all feel about this?
He's not leaving Portland yet. Eventually, he's going to leave Portland. He's going to end up finding himself in Philadelphia, I believe, unless they can figure out miraculously to get him some players that can keep him in Portland. He can go win the championship. By the middle of this season, he's going to be traded to Philadelphia at the end of the season. He's not going to continue being in Portland for more than this year.
Either leave or shut up, bro. Like, we don't care. Like, you've said the same thing over and over and over again, bro. We get it. You don't want to leave because you're loyal. You don't want to run from the grind, yada, yada, yada. But yet you still talking about you want to leave. So pick one. You're really about to, like, as of right now, nobody cares because you're the sympathetic vote for, oh, he's being done wrong. Nobody's putting any talent around him. But if you keep on talking, you're going to piss off your Portland fans, and then it's going to be a bunch of people just sitting around waiting for you to fail like they did LeBron. So if I was you, I would just either ask for a trade or just shut the hell up.
And lastly, we got CP3 is probably never going to win a ring. Anybody got I feel like that was a fight back segment. So
nah.
Anybody
deciding against it? Yeah. No, he's not. He said that he's addicted to the taste or the feel of being in the finals. Well, buddy, you better go get a Nicoderm patch because you're not going again. If you staying in Phoenix, then you're not going. If you go somewhere else, they're going to have to gut out the team to pay for your roster spot or your salary. So it's not happening, pal. You should have capitalized when you had the opportunity, but you decided you wanted to foul Giannis for no reason.
Okay. Well, he has 4 years left on this extension.
You're not going to win a ring.
I could say in the last 2 years, that's his best shot of winning the championship. And if he is going to get back, it's going to be during that time. I think the next 2 years is going to be the Lakers and Golden State Warriors getting back to what they need. Steph Curry proving, he is who he is. Klay Thompson, Draymond getting another ring. LeBron getting his. Russ getting his. And then I feel like after that, we get into the realm where Phoenix and the Clippers, it's time to prove it. Kawhi's probably going to be on his last term with the Clippers, and they got to either get it done, or it's going to be a failed experiment. And at that point, maybe DeAndre Ayton has taken strides to the point where he can manage guarding Giannis and Jokic, and he don't get dominated. And he can actually score. Devin Booker turn this to Kobe and stuff like that. And Chris Paul still playing like Chris Paul. That's the only way I can see them making it back to the finals. And that's the only time I see them making it back to the finals. Unless, this year that happens. They all just sprout.
Yeah, if you can't tell, I'm excited about this segment. Let's try this again. And God willing, I can't wait until 2 years when we can have that segment when he said that the Lakers and the Warriors are going to win the next two finals. That's going to be something. But all that being said,
of course, it's LeBron and Steph Curry.
All right. I said what I need to say. I don't think CP3 going to win.
Yeah. And lastly, we got the pick the ending segment. This week's question is, should the NBA do Hard Knocks, basically? I think, yes. Whatever team they gonna pick, they're gonna probably be sorry, but they ain't got. That's not the point. Hopefully, they don't have the Hard Knocks curse. Speaking of which, this season's Hard Knocks, the Cowboys suck, but that's not what we're talking about. Yeah, as content creators, we love content, so that'll be great content. I will watch it. How about y'all?
I'm not necessarily here for it, but I'm not against it. I think it'd be pretty cool to see, preseason warm-ups and games in the back and behind-the-scenes things of how, everything comes together before the season. But I think that's kind of hard to do in basketball than it is in football and stuff like that. Because I think football, you got to make everybody come together and stuff, right? Basketball, people don't show up for the G League. They don't show up for none of that stuff. They might come to the game, but they're not practicing with each other, are they?
They still have training camp.
I mean, so yeah. I mean, if it could make it work, yeah.
I don't know if they should do it the way the NFL does it. I feel like if they do it, they should make modifications to it. One, because there's no point in doing the exact same thing somebody else is doing. That's boring. And two, because I don't think it'll work the way that it's set up in the NFL. But if, I guess, I don't think I would watch it the way that they do it. I'm not saying they shouldn't do it that way. If they do it, then I wouldn't watch it. Somebody will enjoy it the way it is. But I feel like to get more people to enjoy it, a better way to do it would be either having an NBA team that's in finals contention and doing it the whole season. You don't have to focus on the main players the whole time because that might distract them. You can, like the Jared Dudleys of the world, or the James Joneses, the people that's not really playing. You can follow them around and see how they are and stuff like that. You could do it like the whole season. That way, like, it's actually interesting. You're not watching the worst team in the NBA because nobody cares about the worst team in the NBA. They actually care about the teams that are fighting for the championship. Like in the NFL, you actually kind of somewhat care about sorry teams because they have storylines like getting cut and all that. But another way they could do it that I think would be kind of interesting if they followed it around the same concept whole season. I guess you wouldn't be able to do it with no name players because it wouldn't work as well. But if they did the G League select team, I guess that's what it's called, the team that all the high school players play on, I feel like that would be a good concept for doing it. But,
have it. Oh, you done? What?
Oh yeah, I was just saying, like, doing it with, like, say the Hornets. Well, maybe the Hornets because they have LaMelo Ball, but like doing just training camp of like the who's a sorry team, like the Timberwolves or somebody. Well, they have. Well, I guess in basketball you can always say that you have star players on sorry teams, but it doesn't work with training camp.
Stars in the NBA,
right. In the NBA, the only way it would really, really work is if you do the whole season.
Amen.
I mean, because what you do, the Raptors, they got Siakam and stuff like that. Would you consider him a star?
I guess. I don't know. I would be more interested in OG and Anunoby.
And kind of like how they do.
I mean, I didn't say he was better. I just feel like his story would be a little bit more interesting.
They do the whole season at Last Chance. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, something like that. Like, I just don't feel like training camp is interesting enough. You gonna follow preseason games? Who cares about that? Like, nobody even, other than the year I watched when we went to the finals, nobody watches preseason games.
Well, that concludes another episode of your favorite podcast, not another sports podcast. Remember, I'm one of your hosts, Brandon. And make sure you follow me on all those social media sites at Rob Was There.
And I'm Kevin. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Vice City Kevo. And also make sure you keep streaming up my EPs, How I'm Coming, Demon, and all of that good stuff. Go stream Hot Mamba. And be on the lookout for Hot Mamba 2 coming in September very, very soon. Not doing no Drake and Kanye time, though.
Yes, sir.
No cap. And this is Jordan. You can follow me on Twitter at this_guy11 and on Instagram at _thisguy11. Also follow me on Twitch, Mr_steal your Wi-Fi. I finally found out how to do, like, how they can save all my old streams. So they will be up there at some point. We're gonna talk about sports and whatnot. We might talk about some real life stuff as well. You know, gonna stream Fortnite. Might go back to playing GTA. Who knows? The show, 2K, stuff like that. Also follow my boy.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Follow my boy follow my boy Will on Twitch as well. Big
05.
Will 005. Big Will 005 on Twitch. He also streams as well, Call of Duty, stuff like that. And you can follow the sports pages on Facebook and Instagram at Not Another Sports Podcast, on Twitter at N_A_S_podcast. You can also see us every week live on YouTube at the Cool Telly on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. Listen to us, like, subscribe, give us some feedback on all the audio platforms when you search us up on Not Another Sports Podcast. Definitely appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Appreciate all the love and support. And with that being said, guys, we make sure y'all been safe out here. Make sure you washing your hands. Black Lives Matter. Don't fall for the agendas out here. And go Gators.
Roll Tide.
All that. What he said.
You know what I realized? I could go live on Twitch when we go on the podcast.
You can go what?
Live on Twitch when we go on the podcast.
Let me not try it. Find the episode, Nick. One name, still Nick. Let me not charger.
Damn, I forgot to say that I wouldn't mind if Cam lost his job because he went to Auburn and Mac went to Alabama.
Yeah. Oh, damn, Nick. Still don't have me my charger. It is 3:51.
See, that wasn't a long episode.
It wasn't.
Do the
I guess piss.
y'all want to do AFC or NFC first next week?
What?
Do y'all want to do the AFC or NFC first next week?
Alabama. The Tide. Where did the roast go? Nigging it up. Nigging it up.
That's hard. I did it.
Grab that.
AFC, NFC, Final Four / Super Bowl, MVP, Rookie of the Year. What else?
Yep.
need some genius or BS's for next week. We ain't really had none.
Yeah, name's ready.
Is there anything else? Anything we know that we're gonna need to talk about next week? Oh, we got to do our the season starts. We got to do our week 1 predictions next Tuesday.
Could do what?
We got to do an episode with our predictions next Tuesday.
NFL postseason.
Yeah, each week we're gonna do an episode on Tuesday, and then release it on Thursday morning.
Do a Tuesday episode, release it on Thursday. It's 3 o'clock. I still want to work. What I need to do?
It's 4 o'clock.
It's 4 o'clock. I need to do some BCK work. I need to find out what I can do.